The first initial meeting was in the parking lot of a club.
Yeah, we met, guess when we first met, like you said, we were in Muse Park in Jackson, Tennessee, and she was with her friend.
And we were walking by each other, and my friend was asking me if I knew him. I said no.
Later on that day in the park, you know, she was kind of off to the side. She was inside in her car at the time.
The second time I got to meet Jeff, we were all hanging out at a park, and same group of friends, and I asked him to come near.
Her and her friend both called me over to the car. And as I'm coming over to the car, I see that, you know, they're kind of having girl talk, looking at each other giggly.
And so Jeff comes around and we're snickering and laughing, and there was a guy behind where he was standing, and he had been trying to get my attention. And Jeff turns and says, "Hey, I think that guy wants you."
And I'm kind of thinking, like, who is this guy? Like, what does he want? And I kind of turn my head, and he's like, "Get the girl in the car, get the girl in the car." And I'm like, okay, so I tap on the shoulder, she looks like over her shoulder to me, and I was like, hey, the guy back behind you, like, wants your attention. And the look on her face was just such shock, like, did he really just tell me that another guy, like, asked for my attention? So
I'm like, who does that? I call him over to the car, and he tells me another guy is trying to get my attention. I saw that he had a sweet side, and he was a little shy and quiet. So I thought, well, you know, we're going back to school. We both attend Tennessee State at the time, and so we were all going back to school in the next couple of weeks. So I said, you know, we could exchange numbers and maybe talk when we got back to school. So that was the first couple meetings between Jeff and I.
When I saw her, the one thing that did, like, draw me to her was a smile. She has this personality about herself that allows anyone to approach her. So she's very giving, and just by being around her for a few minutes, I realized all of that.
I don't really remember our first initial date. Jeff and I would see each other, and he lost my number about 3 times, and I think he came over and I cooked hamburger helper, which is really funny because I don't cook. So I think that was like our first initial getting together and just hanging out and talking.
Most of the most memorable moments with us were just spur of the moment. Like, both of us, you can say, very random people.
We went to Atlanta to visit Jeff's father, and we went to like a Dave & Buster's and played games like little kids, and we did the little, you take the pictures and it tells you what your first child's going to look like. The child was ugly, looked like a little monster. So I hope that's not what my first child looks like, but just playing the basketball games, and that was probably our best date.
I was teasing her about, you know, she wasn't this romantic person or, you know, things like that. And she kind of had this surprise weekend planned for us. And we go into this room, and I guess she got her friends to kind of decorate it, like, you know, with all the different fruits and pictures and, you know, music playing. So it was kind of a memorable moment at that point in time. The moment I knew that she was the one.
Throughout this 10-year relationship, off and on, Jeff has always been there when it counts. If there was something in my life that was important to me, or that if there was something going on, Jeff was always there.
Talking to my pastor at the time, and he had kind of brought up the fact, you know, when you pray, be real specific in your prayer. And I asked, you know, if she is the one for me, like, could you just have her call me between 8 and 9 o'clock, or 8 and 8:30. Y'all remember that, 8 and 8:30.
He's cheering me on. He's my biggest cheerleader. He's my biggest support system. So I thought, this is the type of man that I would want to marry, that I would want to raise my kids with.
I saw I had a missed call, and I saw it was from her, and I distinctly remember the time. It said 8:10, and it was like, you know, one of those wow moments, like, whoa, you couldn't tell me any other better way than that right there. So at that point in time right there, I knew she was the one. There were still various obstacles we would have to climb, but, you know, I knew at that point in time that she was the one.
You know, Jeff has been a part of my family for 10 years. You know, my mom welcomed him in with open arms, and which was really funny to me because my mom didn't do that to a whole lot of people. But Jeff was really special to her, and she loved him. There was a time when Jeff and I broke up in college, and Jeff called my mother, and he talked to my mother about this situation. And he told her he was sorry and that he hurt my feelings, but that he really loved me and that he wanted to be with me. She saw something in him way before I did, and eventually I got it, and I see those same things in him. He has become truly a part of our family, so it's very, very important to me that, you know, he gets along with my family and vice versa. Jeff has been supportive in a lot of aspects of my life. You know, I experienced the tragedy of my mom passing away, and you know, Jeff was there throughout the whole thing and very supportive. From the initial phone call when I found out my mom was sick, you know, he left work to take my sister and I home to the hospital to see my mom, and you know, prayed with me. We prayed together, and you know, he's my strength when I'm weak.
Even if we weren't together or anything, I still would have went out of my way to do that because that's just the type of personality that she has that, like I said, it lends to helping people. So with her having that helping personality, that helping mindset that I'll give you the shirt off my back, I just knew that I had to do the same thing for her. She supports my faith in any way possible. We've kind of been each other's support system.
And just experiencing some of the things that he went through in his church family and compared to mine was just great, just to learn and experience new things and grow together, and our faith becomes stronger together.
With everything faith-based, she's driven me, I've driven her, and we've supported each other as far as going to church, reading the Bible, all those type things. So faith, at that point in time, we realized that we needed that, and we were going to support each other with our faith.
I tease him all the time. We went to the Bahamas, and it was supposed to be like a big group trip, and then initially it was supposed to be, you know, several couples, and found out that some weren't able to come, so it was just going to be he and I and another couple.
And at this point in time, I'm trying to think, how can I incorporate, you know, me proposing to her on the cruise ship. Anybody that knows Courtney knows she's extremely nosy. She goes poking around for things. So I'm having to think of anything possible to try to keep this as a surprise. Like, she pokes around so much that I had to get a safe deposit box just for the ring, because I figured if I kept it in my room, in my house, she would go snooping through something and find it.
Jeff has a towel wrapped up, and he's pretending like it's a a guitar, and he's playing the guitar and he's singing this Usher song. And I'm like, what in the world is he doing?
And she was looking at everyone else as if like, do everyone have cameras? And I was like, you know, acting that, I was like, you're not listening to me. She was like, oh, okay. So I kind of made it through like the first verse, kind of lip singing. And my intentions were to make it through like the second verse, but like my nerves kind of took over. So once the chorus came, we've got something special that's meant to be. Together we'll take over the world. And right when he got to that point, I dropped on the knee and I just asked her, you know, will you marry me? She just had this like shocked face, and she never really, I joked with her, I was like, she never really kind of said yes. She just had the shocked face for maybe 45 seconds to a minute, and then she kind of just hugged me. And
I was in shock there for a minute. He said, it took me a while, and I said, no. I said, yes, you heard me. But yeah, definitely yes.
Like, after everything kind of settled, she stopped and she looks at me, and the first thing out of her mouth was, did you ask my daddy? And I'm thinking, you didn't even answer, like, tell me yes or no. So I'm going off assumption, expecting you said yes. Once she realized I was able to keep a secret from her of this magnitude, she was kind of like looking at me suspicious, like, so what else have you kind of kept from me? And I'm thinking, I don't know where to go with you. This is the person I've just committed my life to, and she's like suspecting me for something else.
Jeff is very caring and sensitive and very corny.
We're both really random. We're both try new things just at the spur of the moment, probably outside of food. She absolutely won't eat any kind of Mexican food.
Laid back, understanding. He's very caring.
You know, she has a loving personality. She'll give you the shirt off her back if she will. She's always smiling. I kind of wonder if she's ever having a bad day because she has that highs at times.
He shows his emotions in a totally different way than I do, so we sort of balance each other out.
Personality-wise, we're so much of the same person. It's kind of ridiculous and disgusting at times, if you want to say.
And sometimes I'll tell him something to do. I'll give him a list of things to do, and he'll get half of it.
She starts a train of thought, and she will not finish.
I think he tunes me out, so he only hears the first part of it and maybe not the whole story.
Within a 20-minute conversation, she could easily do that 5 times, and that's probably on the low end.
We have made it through all the obstacles, and yes, there's more to come, but we fought those storms, and the best is yet to come. So I'm excited and ready to celebrate.
5 years from now, I would like to be, in a sense, starting a family.
We will probably be set in our careers, doing what we love. Maybe a child, maybe 1, 2. If it was up to him, he would probably want 3.
We're kind of in the debate about the number of kids we would like to have, but we've kind of both reached that idea that, like, within 5 years from now, we would like to have started a family.
Just content, growing more spiritually, growing together, and just fulfilling our dreams, continuing to travel and see new places, and just loving and sharing each other's company.
Just moving towards just happiness, honestly. To say, I guess, where I would like to be, honestly, like wherever God takes us, I'm happy, honestly. Courtney, this has been an extreme long journey from 2001 till now.
Jeff, I am such a lucky girl to be able to say I do on August the 20th. God has blessed me with such a wonderful man, a God-fearing man, a supportive man.
Throughout this time, we've made it through various trials and tribulations and all the obstacles in the world.
I'm just thankful that we're going to spend the rest of our lives together and cherish the time that we've spent together so far. And I look forward to spending the rest of my life with you and having children with you, growing spiritually together, and just raising our family together and continuing to travel and seeing the rest of the world. And
no matter how many times we were pulled apart, we still made it to come back together.
And I just thank you very much for coming into my life and fulfilling my dreams and allowing me to be the person that I am and cherishing that. Thank you, and I appreciate you so much. Love you.
So with this message, I'm saying, as by now, we've told the whole world, and I've told the whole world that I love you and I plan to spend the rest of my life with you, and there's no one on this earth that I would rather be with than you. Love you.